The muzzle is off. Let go of the shame, remove all the pain, block it out like a troll on your timeline. The past is what made you who you are today. Embrace it, let it go like an exhale. Remove it, remove it, remove it. The muzzle is off.
Y'all see me messing with this microphone. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Muzzle is Off podcast, where I am your host, Nikia Monet. Hope y'all feeling all right tonight. I'm feeling pretty good. I can't complain. I could, but who the hell wants to hear it anyway, right? Right. So tonight we got my sis with me. We got my sis Kay Brown. Hey, Kay.
Hey.
Come look. Voice is coming. It's coming through.
It's coming through a little bit, yeah.
Listen, okay. So y'all know we're only going to be on here for an hour. I've been real good with my time as of lately. You know, before two seasons ago, we used to be on here 2 hours and stuff, and I've been really good with keeping time down to an hour. So tonight we're going to be on here for an hour. We got my sis Kay Brown. Anybody want to join in? All you got to do is inbox me and I'll send you the link, because we're going to be talking about this whole situation with Tiffany Haddish, Aries Spears. What's going on with that? What happened with that? What's being said? What's being spoken? And I really want to deal with some of this level of outrage that I've been seeing on social media about it, because some of y'all, I'm convinced y'all didn't really watch that video. And or if you watched it, you saw a piece of it and didn't see the entire video all the way through to the end. So that's what we're going to get into tonight, because I definitely watched the whole entire video. I had to search on Twitter for the video. Let me be honest. I had to really search. I am not sending it out to anyone. I will not even play that video live on the podcast, for the simple fact that it'll be flagged and then they're going to shut me down, and we ain't got time to be shut down over a video from, like, I don't know, 2014, 2007, somewhere like that. So if you have not seen the video and you would like to see it, all you need to do is search Twitter under hashtag Aries Spears, and it will come up, but you have to really search. You have to really look for it, because there is a link out there for the video. If you have, we're going to get into, I guess, like summarizing the video, because for the most part, the video was a public service announcement with regards to molestation, rape, and it depicted a Black family, right? And what you see in the video is you see Tiffany Haddish playing the mother of a young boy, and her being the mother of this young boy. She wants to go out. She wants to live her life. She wants to do certain things. And she's asking an uncle of hers, can you please watch my son while I go do this? Can you please watch my son while I go do that? And in each instance of her asking this uncle, whom she trusts to watch her son, he's doing something to the son, right? We don't see in the video exactly what he's doing, but there are a lot of sexual innuendos in the video to lead you into what's actually happening, right? There's one scene in the video where it's looking like as if the way the video is, he's squirting baby oil on the boy in a very sexual manner. In another part of the video, she is asking her to watch him while the little boy is taking a bath. And you can see in the video where he literally jumps into the tub fully clothed while this little boy is in the tub. There are other parts of the video where it's like as if he has holes cut out of a newspaper, how he's watching the little boy play in a very sexually suggestive way. And all throughout the video, you can see that they're talking about the mind of a pedophile, because that's what it's called. You know, we could say pedophile. They won't flag pedophile, but that's what it's called. They're literally discussing the mind, and they're showing the mind of a pedophile, kind of like how a pedophile looks at a child in a longing way, because in pedophilia, in their mind, it is natural for them to view a child sexually. Right. So that's what you see in the video. And all the way at the end of the video, you see the message go up that says, watch who you have around your children. That's what you see at the end of the video. Some of y'all didn't get that far. I don't know how. I don't know what video y'all watched, but y'all didn't get that far. And that's between you and your video research abilities. But I got that far in the video. It was a very hard video to watch. But what isn't hard to watch when you're dealing with pedophilia? It's not going to be easy to watch. Y'all watch a lot of stuff on TV that's not easy to watch, and you don't have that many complaints, but we'll get into that. Kay, go ahead and give me your surmise.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. As we were talking, I was just researching more. Something just came out an hour ago. Ari Spears spoke out, so we have to see what that's about.
Okay, wait. All right, we gotta go.
Yeah, so we gotta see, but because I couldn't figure out, was it another video that was made? Because how was this, the girl is Jane Doe is suing as well. And number one, no disrespect to them or taken away from them. But as a filmmaker, I can just tell you about the magic of editing. A film is not shot in the way that it's presented to you. So I'm sure Ari Spears was not glaring at the little boy. I'm sure that was shot. They had him glaring, and then when they edited it together, right? So who's really at fault? I mean, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if it was called The Mind of a Pedophile. I don't think anything called The Mind of a Pedophile is meant to be like a comedy skit. So I haven't really, like I said, hadn't heard him talk out about it. I know Tiffany says she can't talk out about it much. One thing I did disagree with her was her apologizing and admitting a fault. I think that a lot of times people do that to please America, but you're never going to be able to please everybody, right? These kids, I was, as you were talking, so I found a part of the lawsuit. They were saying that they are traumatized. They don't take pictures and videos because they're scared that weird adults are going to do things, and that the young girl's mother and Tiffany Haddish met in 2013 when they were both getting divorced. They both had messy divorces, and that the 14-year-old little girl at the time was invited over to do a skit. So I guess this one wasn't released. And she was asked to make sexual moaning noises. Again, this is all alleged because I haven't seen any footage of this. And that she was asked to eat a sub sandwich and simulate oral sex. Can we say that? So I don't know where that one is. I haven't seen that one. Watching the other one is very hard to watch, but talking about it is even harder to talk about. If you have honest men talk, a lot of them will tell you that they have been molested, right? By an older male in their family. It's a young man that I follow on TikTok, and at first I was judging him. So, I always take full responsibility because I was like, he's like, but he said that he struggles with his sexuality because his brother was having, relations with him from, I think, age 7 to like age 14. So he is feminine, but he's found someone to marry. He found his white queen to marry. And that he, finally knows, who he is as a person, and that he likes to go get his nails and stuff done, but he likes women. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but this has confused him, and therapy helped him. So, after like hearing his story and things like that, I'm like, people don't talk about this enough. And for this video to be flagged and taken down, and you think about things like we talked about, different strokes. And then granted, I know it was a different time frame. It still was, I think that was more comfortable to watch because we're more like used to it. We didn't talk about this type of culture in the 70s, right? In the 80s. So when I saw Arnold and Dudley in playing Tarzan in their drawers for this white man in the camera, I was like, we were kids. I was like, what's going on here? But we need these constant reminders, right? Somebody has to make something new every couple of years because the kids that are alive today will not go back and watch Different Strokes. They will never see that. So how are we going to let them know about what's going on?
I think part of my issue is Tiffany Haddish's statement. When you actually watch the video, now I don't know about the video with the sister, right, Jane Doe, because that has not been displayed anywhere, that video. But the video, as it relates to John Doe and what's going on in that video, you can't say that you intended to make it comedic. Now I can understand a comedic flair, right? So like kind of like how you said, how they edited it with the how he's glaring. Like it's not a serious glare, right? But you understand what they're trying to insinuate with the glare. So, and that's so to Vanessa, what I will say is that if you watch the video in its entirety, it's not that they tried to make a comedy out of it. I think Tiffany Haddish probably should have had her statement edited by someone that is really a PR person that can actually make a real clear and decisive and definitive statement, because her statement makes absolutely no sense when you actually watch the video. It was not comedic. It was literally, and I'm not even going to say that it was taken lightly, like taking a light flair to a situation, but it was them doing a skit in a way, and I don't know what it's called. Okay, you know what it's called in the whole skit world. But it was as if it was them because they're both two comedians, but it was them doing a skit on something that's actually rather serious, but not making it like as serious for the person that's watching it. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, it's kind of like, I mean, Kevin Hart. Think about him. He has a whole comedy. Laugh at my pain. Black people have always been known to make light of certain situations because we say that we laugh to keep from crying. It's a meme going around that was like, Black people are the only people that be like, remember when Ma hit you in the head with that frying pan when we was wild? Your Ma was wild. Like, it's not funny that you got hit in the head with a frying pan. It's actually very damaging. Your mother could have damaged your brain. But you laugh to keep from crying. So that's just what has always been a part of our culture as a Black people. And I think what happens is, if you think about it in the way that the mother allowed it, right? Mm-hmm. Now the sister is 22 years old and she has custody of the son. Yes. So what happened? Where's the mother? Did the mother pass away? Right. But no, she didn't pass away. I'm sorry, because they said her name. They said the mother's name. We need to search that. She probably took all her social medias down, but they said the mother's name. So did you lose custody of your kids because you were selling them for things, or now all of a sudden you turn 22. I mean, you have custody and now you want to sue, and they want to sue for punitive damages. They want to sue for anything that they can sue for. And coming from the law background, the law world or whatever, it's called the deep pocket rule. You want to sue whoever has the deepest pocket. So you want to sue everybody. You're suing Tiffany, whoever. I just want to get a check. How much money can make you feel better about if you thought that you were SA'd? Is there a dollar amount for your that can ever make you feel better? No. So that's why I always say, like, people just be out for the money. And if they were listening, said, we're not being disrespectful to you. We're just telling you what we see. Now, maybe when a lawsuit comes out, or maybe when the other video comes out and we can see that they really told you to sexually moan as a 14-year-old girl, and, performing fellatio on a sub sandwich, which I'm like, what kind of sub sandwich is that? Like, I'm in my mind, but I just always think that when people start to get money, I always think if they didn't make it, right? Well, Ari Spears really, to me, I mean, he's made it for some people, but I guess Tiffany Haddish, to me, her name is more, well known. If they didn't make it, right, would they be suing? If they were broke, would they be suing?
So according to what Tiffany Haddish's attorney Andrew Bretler said, he said that the plaintiff mother, Triza Morris, has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Miss Haddish for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And what they said was that every time it would go before the court, it would get dismissed. Or every time it would go before the court, the lawyers would end up dropping it because they said it was frivolous. That's what they said. That's what was happening in the past. So now she has an attorney that is basically saying, I'm not going to drop this. I don't care what anybody says. We're going full force with this whole entire lawsuit now because we have these videos and we have proof. And I also think that it also has a lot to do with the lens of today compared to the lens of before, right? The lens of today, because we're very heightened, we're hypersensitive, we are 101% me too. Everything has turned into what we deem as appropriate compared to what we say is inappropriate, right? So now, because we're in this heightened situation of, we just watched R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein. Let's not forget the countless others, because there's another one that was from Nickelodeon. I forgot his name. I watched his video yesterday that they've been trying to get charges pressed against him for years, and they still haven't been able to do so because they said that he was acting very inappropriate with the children on those Nickelodeon sets. There seems to be a video out of a skit that even The Rock did some years ago, saying that he created a time machine, a pedophile time machine, or whatever the heck that thing was. I watched this video yesterday. My friend Karima, she sent it to me. I said, a lot of this stuff has been going on for a very long time, but we're finding ourselves to be selectively outraged about Tiffany Haddish. And I question why. And maybe it's because we have a lack of information. Maybe it's because a lot of us already didn't like her, because a lot of commentary I saw was a lot of us saying, I didn't like her anyway, and this just proves why I never liked her, because she's just weird.
Black people don't like other black people. Post-traumatic slave disorder is real. When black people like, why don't you like Tiffany Haddish? People, what has she done that you wouldn't like her? You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's not funny. Okay, well, you didn't think she's funny, but what has she done to make you not like her? I've seen her. They made a big deal out of her being at like a game, and someone was like, Tiffany, screaming her name or whatever. She turned around like, Samantha. You see how it feels or whatever? She's human. She's allowed to do that. When Whitney Houston did it, it was funny. You know what I mean? I'm eating. It was funny. Now Tiffany did it. Oh, I can't stand her. They just want people to be so readily accessible at their every beck and call, every drop and dime. And it's
Vanessa, here's what I want to understand is, I want to understand exactly what was wrong with the kids participating in a skit that was to raise awareness. If you watch Law and Order SVU, there are kids playing a role of being raped, of being molested, of being sex trafficked. No one has an issue with SVU. No one has an issue with ER when that was on TV, when you would see the rape victims being children being brought into the ER to have a rape kit tested on them. No one has an issue with Chicago PD. No one has an issue with a CSI. No one, but because this is a low budget skit, what is the problem? Like, what is the problem? Like, it's something that we saw. How many TV shows did we see? New York Undercover, they did shows on children being molested by family members. What are we upset about? Are we upset because this was a low budget PSA where you can kind of see the comedic flair in it, right? Like Kay said, a lot of the times what we do is we laugh at our pain, although we're talking about a very serious issue. We might laugh, we might joke, we might make it. And it's not even that we're laughing. We're trying to lighten it, but allow the message to still hit.
Which it hits, because how many comedians have gotten on stage? I've heard it numerous times. Like, everybody in the family got that weird uncle that your mother tell you to stay away from. You know what I mean? They say it in a funny way, but it's not funny because everybody in the family does have that weird uncle. I know I
And
had
that's
that weird
what they
uncle.
were showing, that weird uncle that everybody should stay away from.
That's
That weird,
exact. So
that
everybody's
weird
talked
uncle.
about it. They show the weird uncle. You know, they show Tiffany's part is like, you know, when she said, I'm just, you know, I was disgusted that I was in it. Why? It's so many mothers that are like you right now today that are dropping their kids off right now, right when we're talking, to be able to go to the club, or I want to go to happy hour, and they risk their child's their health, their, you know, for them being SA'd. You know, I have, you know, friends that and I always tell people, I always like, it's people are red flags to me, right? I know a guy that started dating a girl. She had 5 children, and she lived in a 1-bedroom. I mean, she lived in a 1-room. Like, she lived in a room. That was it. She had a room, and she lived in a rooming house in a room with her 5 kids. And that she's like, this is my new boyfriend. He's a red flag to me. Why would you be with a woman?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, like, I don't
yeah.
understand. How are y'all dating? This is your boyfriend. You just met him, and he moves into the rooming house with you. I know it's a lot of homosexuals. They need a place to stay, but not at that point of where I'm going, I need a man so bad. You know, it's so many women that'll be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months pregnant and have a new boyfriend. How? Like, I don't understand why you can't just let it rest, let that box rest a little while so you have that baby, and then, like, you know, so you mean you're meet a new man when you're 3, 4 months pregnant because the other one didn't work out, or it was a one night stand or whatever, and now you're having sex with somebody else that desires you pregnant, and you're not even pregnant with their child. It's those, to me, those are, I don't know, people like that are weird to me. So I don't, you know, whenever I see a man that doesn't have any children, and they meet a woman with like 8 or 9 kids, and they are like, yeah, this is the one. Oh, you go ahead out, I'll watch the kids. No, no,
I ain't leaving my kids.
No. So I don't understand, like you said, because it was low budget. Why? Because it played R. Kelly. We all know that R. Kelly was a perv, right? So that they were playing that music to make it funny. You know, she was trying to be funny when she was like, I need to go to the post, like, just making up any lie. That's what the comedy was supposed to hit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to post office. He like, it's 10 o'clock at night. She like, I'm going to the 24-hour post office. You know, that's where the little comedy was. But it was a very serious message. And like I said, at the very end, it's like, watch who you leave your kids with. Like, because this is not funny. Like, watch who you leave your kids with. And when people don't see that, and they're like, oh, we don't have to see it to understand it. Yes, you do. A lot of people need to see it to understand how many people it's happened to. I know so many little boys that, you know, so many boys that have been touched by men, women, whoever. But, whoever.
Because some of these women do it too. Some of y'all leave y'all kids with your so-called girlfriends, and your girlfriends is teaching your sons how to eat the box. Listen, it happens.
I had a friend that started getting molested at 6. His father would take him to women's houses or whatever, and he was like, oh, I you know, was breastfeeding. It was for the but he was 6 on other women. And I was like, what? And he said, you know, he didn't tell his mother till he got older. When he was grown, his mother was like disgusted with his father, and he didn't understand why, because he's a man. Like, oh, he was 6 and he was suckling on, you know, grown women. Like, no.
And these grown women, you're a pedophile for looking at a 6-year-old that way and allowing a 6-year-old,
or even allowing it. Like, I don't care if my man said, let my son. No, absolutely not. What is you talking about?
Like, I know somebody who that happened to. His mother would, you know, leave him with the friends, and the mother was okay with it. And the mother was like, I mean, she made you into a man. And the friend was literally having sex with a non-teenage boy.
Oh yeah, that's like everyday America. And my you know, I was talking to 2 guys or whatever. They were cousins. They were like, yeah, one of their mother's friends used to act drunk, like she would pass out, and they were like 9 and 10, and they would get up and take turns on her. And they was like she wasn't really drunk or asleep, but she knew what was going on, and she would do it like all the time. So that's where they got their first experience.
And we wonder why some of these
mama's
kids,
old drunk friend, you know, on the couch.
Right. And they wonder where the over-sexualization of children really started. But, you know, and that's to your point. I get it. You said Tiffany's comment made it work. And it does, because her comment, that's why I said she probably needed a real PR person, and she should have just shut up. She should have just shut up until her lawyers wrote a statement for her to post as an official statement from Tiffany Haddish, because her statement made no sense. Now, it's not that they made the skit funny, because it wasn't meant, if you really watch the full skit in its entirety, it wasn't meant to be funny, but it was a way, because they are two comedians. I do not believe that they sat, like Kay said, I don't believe that they sat there and just filmed this whole thing in one shot of him glaring at a child.
No, I know they didn't. I'm
Right.
an editor and a filmmaker, so I can just tell by the way that it was cut, that it wasn't set like that. It was edited very well. Whoever edited it was very well. But then the person that edited it, they didn't have a problem with it, because the person who edited
had to watch all of that and
you have to watch it, and you have to merge, and you have to cut at certain points, and you have to like get the exact thing. You have to overlay the music, and the music wasn't playing throughout the thing, and you know all of that is a part of the editing, the magic of editing. I love editing. Like, I love being a filmmaker, because if you watch a film all the way through, I could have filmed the last scene first and the first scene last and the middle scene. Like, you just don't know when people are filming what. Sometimes as an independent filmmaker, you can kind of tell, if the project took longer, because it might be the summer and then it ends in the winter, and you're like, wait, they just had on. If you're really paying attention like we do, as a filmmaker, you don't get to watch things anymore for enjoyment, which really sucks. You just watch for like, oh, I want to see that shot, or I want to see how that was done, or you know what I mean, like that. And you're like, oh, so when I watch that, I'm like, okay, this was edited. They're like, all right, Ari, stare at the camera, put the newspaper up, hold it a little up here, okay, down here, okay, we're gonna shoot this, okay, we're gonna shoot like this, okay, the camera is directly in front of you. He's not looking at the little boy. The camera is directly in front of you. The shots were we call head-on shots. It was shots like this. So it's like, all right, Ari, right here, look right here, okay, more, more glaring, more whatever. So it's a director that's behind it. So who was directing it? That's why when Tiffany I was pulling up her statement, like you said, like when Tiffany was taken, was she the director? Like, did she film it, or was she the DP? DP is director of photography, for those that don't know. The person that actually like filmed it, like who filmed it? Like it has to make it make sense. Like, a lot of people, to me, they over do certain things, and they underdo other things. Like they overdo certain things. I was even thinking about an episode of SVU when the guy was touching the kids, and I mean, he was in the train station and he was rubbing the boy's back, and so nobody's outraged by that. Like, why? Because the little boy was in underwear. They showed like the back of him playing. So they just called it a tasteless skit. It was tasteless. It was tasteless.
And it was.
It's true life America. For the little boy right now that could be watching and listening, that was molested by his uncle, we're sorry that you were hurt. To the little girl right now that was molested, we're sorry that you were hurt. To our little girls inside of us that have been molested, we're sorry that we were hurt. You know what I mean? It's nothing that we can do about it now but raise awareness. But to speak on her, she says, I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Right there with what, Tiffany? I'm getting. Unfortunately, because there's an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now. But clearly, while the sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all. And I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. See, she just said she acted in it. So okay. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about the situation as soon as I can. Okay, so let's just dissect what she said, right? Mm-hmm. She agreed to act in it. Number one, a lot of times when people write skits, you can just know what the basis is about, but you might not know how it's going to be filmed or how it's going to be shot. Again, Tiffany was possibly not even in a room when those scenes were shot, because remember, she was dropping her son off every time or running out of the scene. Did you stand and watch the scene going like, yeah, that's the shot right there. You get that? Like, who knows? We don't know. It could have just been her, because the young Jane Doe said that her and her brother were separated. I'm trying to figure out why she was on set if she wasn't filming. Is that why you were separated? We don't have other kids on set with other kids because kids tend to get into trouble with each other. So we don't ever have two kids together. It's always an adult. So where was the mother? You know what I mean? Like, did she trust Tiffany enough to leave her son? Did she not read the skit? Did she sign a contract? Like, because it was a low budget skit and it was done so long ago, did they have the right documentation in place? Is that why it keeps being thrown out of court? Because, you signed for your child to do this. You know what I mean? To be his pictures to be used in this way. Did they get paid for it? Is the fact that they didn't get paid for it? It was taken down. Like, it's so many questions but again, she can't answer, but I just feel like, again, everything is about money, and people are like, oh, you can get paid for that. 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 It's annoying to me at this point, especially being a filmmaker. And when I did my live, when I interviewed for my second book, Me Is Me. So, just a sidebar for those that don't know, I'm an author. I have 7 books. And when I wrote my first book, I based it on 2 best friends that's been through everything. And then one of them ends up going to jail. And so when she gets to jail, she meets a girl that's gay in jail. And so the girl is telling her story from jail, which I actually had met a young lady that shared her story with me. Never would say her name anyway, but she shared her story of why she was gay, and everybody is gay for their own reasons, right? And she was saying that her mother's boyfriend would sexually assault her all the time, and she had really long hair, and when she was little, she didn't know how to tell her mother. She's like 9. She had these real long pigtails, and she cut them off. She wanted to look like a boy. And I wrote like her story. It wasn't her story because she's not in jail, she's free. But I wrote her story as the basis of what happened to this girl. She cut her hair off, her pigtails off at the thing. I'm like, oh my God, being a black girl with long hair, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big deal, right? And she cut her hair off, and she said, why'd you cut your hair off? And she refused to wear dresses. And her grandmother was like, you need to wear dresses. Little girls need to wear dresses. And she said she refused to wear them, to where she would, when her grandmother would make her wear them, she would put her knees together, and they would have burns, because she was like, I got to sit with my legs closed so tight all the time. Anywhere she went, she had to do that. And so she found herself hating men. That was her way in. And then she found her way into liking women. And she said that she stopped. I mean, that what ended up happening with her, which was a true story, when she went to college, a lot of people are, I don't know if I could say trisexual, but they're, when they get to college and
try things out.
Yeah, try things out, but in the dark, it was done in the dark, they don't know. And she was an AG. Again, I don't know the new terms. Please don't kill me if I say the terms wrong. But at the time when I was interviewing her, she told me that she was an AG, which was an aggressor. And she said, and she called me crying. I was like, you crying? Because I was like, you were supposed to be the aggressor. Like, it was like, I was like trying to like joke with her. And she was like, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm just tired of these girls like just using me at nighttime. And then when they see me in the campus on daytime, they don't know me. So basically they would let her do things to them at night and enjoy it. And then in the daytime, they would be with their men on campus, and she would be like hurt. And I was like, I told you to stop messing with straight girls that want to just see what it's like being with a female. Because you know that you only like females. So get with a female that only likes females. Stop thinking that you have the magic stick or whatever it is to make these women leave these men alone. They're not, you know what I mean? And then they were younger and in college, and she was like 19 at the time. So I'm like, they're not even, and this was years ago. So now they're more open to come out at that age. But I was like, they're not even, like, if they are, they're not coming out the closet. You know what I mean? They're not doing that. So you have to accept who you are and how you are, and have to get somebody that loves you for you, that wants to go into she's like, see him in the calf, and, going to like a HBCU, because I remember going to Howard, and, you coming into the calf, you with your peoples, whatever, you see couples. She wanted to be able to hold her girl, like a girl's hand. Nobody was like, what? If you don't get out of here. But she had braids. Yeah, and at night, and she was like, she would go get her hair braided at certain girls' rooms, and then things would go down, and then you go home, and then they be with their man the next day, and they looking at you like, what?
And don't say nothing.
Yeah. So, I said all that to say, are people going to be calling me like, oh my gosh, she's a pedophile? She wrote about pedophilia. I wrote about somebody's story. So the basis of the books, they're all scripts now. You know what I mean? So we want to turn the books into movies. So will people be saying that about me? Did people say that about Lee Daniels when, in Precious, when, her mother was telling her to come make her feel good? Or is it only because they were using words and not actually showing Precious making her mother feel good?
But you got this innuendo.
Yeah.
She had to go upstairs and make her mother feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who read the book in which it came from, the book was very explicit.
The book was even more explicit. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so when people think that about I don't know, I forgot the author's name. I apologize. The person who wrote the book, Lee Daniels just did the film, but it's another person that wrote the book, and our book was so hard to read because remember it was written in impressionist language, so it was like it was really hard to read, but I understood it. You know what I mean?
Can read it.
It was bad. I mean, we read it for my book club years ago. It was years ago before the movie came out, and I remember going to see the movie. And I remember going to see the movie in Scotch Plains. It was me and my sister. We were the only two Black people in the movie theater, and we were cracking up. Right? Impressions is not a comedy at all.
It is.
When she snatched that bucket of chicken was running, we were screaming, laughing, hollering. Right? They were disgusted with us. When her mother threw that TV at her, we was like, oh, like, because we know, like, this could happen in my house. Like, I remember my grandmother taking the curtain rod down and beating my uncle with it, like when he was getting fresh, like bending the curtain rod or whatever. Like I remember him closing the door in her face and her coming through the door with a broom. Like that stuff is funny to us. Like people, oh my God, it's traumatizing. It's, oh my God, he's toxic. And everything for these kids now is toxic and oh my God.
Toxic, triggering.
Yeah, it doesn't. None of it triggered me. It made me who I am today. I always tell people, I was watching a video of the man that was acting like he was spanking his daughter and hitting the floor, and the little girl was screaming. He wasn't even hitting her. He was hitting the floor. Smack, smack, smack. I told you not to. And she was screaming her head off. And it was like funny because she wasn't even getting hit, right? But just the fear of hearing a belt feared her enough or whatever. And people are like, oh my God, that's child abuse. I'm like, oh my God, I used to really get hit with one. Like, could you imagine? You guys really thought I got abused. I got hit with extension cords. Like, I just don't, I feel like it made me a better person. I was, hard-headed, and that helped me to listen, okay? Graduated top of my class, for those that didn't know. Gave a commencement speech and everything, okay? My father whooping my behind helped me, okay? I don't know about nobody else, but they helped me. So, it's like you don't even want to make content anymore because it's like everyone
gets offended. Everybody gets offended. Everything is a problem. Everything is sensitive. Like I said, we are in a very I have to watch how I post on anything because we're in a hypersensitive environment to where anything and everything can get you fired. Don't let people know where you work. Don't let people know this and the third, because at the end of the day, people won't have your job if you post something, if you say something that they don't agree with, that they feel is wrong. And I think that's why Tiffany made that statement. She made that statement unbeknownst to her, which was very damaging, but you made a statement too fast because in your mind, oh my God, these people are about to cancel me. No, exactly. They can't cancel if you uncancelable. Listen, let me say this.
That's my whole name on TikTok, cancel culture. You cannot cancel me. I cancel myself. I'm going to say what I want and do what I want to say, whatever. And as long as I'm respectful, I'm always going to call out a racist. I'm not. And those people, and I'm telling you, that's a whole nother world on TikTok. Having like 50,000 followers and all of that. That's another world. And people, I even have to watch how I post, how I move. And
let's be real, TikTok is very censoring. So they censor.
Oh yeah, because everything. It's not here. They censor everything. Anything that's Black people say. They steal all of our trends. I just can't wait till it's a lawsuit against them, a class action suit that they're working on because they censor all the Black creators. Like when Ellen used to have all the TikTokers on and was dancing. I mean, like sidebars what we were talking about, but they were not the creators. Come to find out, they were all created by Black people, and it's just that the white people went viral posting these people dances, and the people that made them up didn't even get any credit for them. And it's like it's actually sickening almost. It's one that's going around now. It's a young Black girl did a trend in a yellow dress, like looking for her ex-boyfriend, and she's dancing everywhere around. Like when you go to your ex-boyfriend's you heard he was getting a slice of pizza and she dancing in his yellow dress. So they like, it's like the girl in the yellow dress. Now here comes this white girl in the yellow dress. Like, oh girl, I'm helping you look for him. No. Because now she's doing a dance the Black girl is doing. Like, I'm helping you look for him. He ain't at my house, and like looking in the cars. But people think that she started this trend now because white people always want to have more followers than the Black people, because that's what it is. And people that are speaking up on injustices and things like that, we always get censored. If somebody says something racist to me and I say something back, clap back or get my lick back, I got a community violation.
Yep.
I've already lost like 4 pages because I'm never going to not say something back. So, that's
and
that
I think
part.
That's the problem. Like, and that's why I say we're in a culture that is hypersensitive. Everything is sensitive. we can't say this, we can't say that, because if we say it, hence this video that was not comedic. Yes, did it have a light flare to it? Probably to take the edge off of what we were watching. But could you really take the edge off if you understand the content? No, because this shit was hard anyway. I don't care how, I don't care what R. Kelly song you play. I don't care how, although the eyes were like luring, but it was more like a cartoonish type luring. Like it was like,
yeah, because he had the black circles in his eyes, the cigarette
yeah.
hanging, the typical pervert uncle that we all know. If we don't know one, we know in the family. And I know that that's not even only a black thing, because it's so funny that because I was just watching SVU, and it was an episode of a lady who had dementia, and she had broken into this house, and they were like, and she was like Itsy and Bitsy, and she was going back to when she was a kid, and her mother's brother, her uncle, had came to stay with them, and he was molesting him. And so it happens, and she was like, the other little girl was like, I was not allowed to play at Bitsy's house. They called us Itsy and Bitsy, and she was older, but she had dementia, and the only thing that she could remember is she used to go down the street and go into this window, and this couple was like, who the hell's coming through our window? Like, who broke in our house? And because she's like 80 now, you know what I mean? But she was going back in her mind to when she was 6, and that's where she used to go for safety, to run from her perverted uncle. So, and this was white people, this wasn't black people. So it happens every race USA. I don't know, it was this weird video yesterday on TikTok of these Islamic men twerking.
That's weird.
I mean, sidebar, but I was like, that's one culture, right? That they don't go away from
their culture.
They don't, we go to church wherever people let stuff slide. They let stuff slide. Like, it's in Islam. I was like, I was like, what? So I put it in my story. I said, I need my Muslim people to tell me what's going on here. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, is this like a bad movie? But it was like, how they almost like Hajj. It was all these Muslim men in a room, and they was twerking. They had I was like, what is going on? I was like, I felt when I watched the Tiffany Haddish video, like, oh my God, what's going on here? Like, I feel appalled, because I would never expect that from them. Do I not think that there are gay Muslim men? Yes, I absolutely do think it is. And I know some of them. And I'm talking about ones that are even from, I'm not talking about, these are not black Islamics. So let me just be real clear. Right. This is over in, I don't know where they are, so I won't.
But they're over there.
I won't be it. They're not here. They're maybe Arab. I don't know. So I won't say what kind of, I will say that they're the original Muslims, like they're not black Muslims. And so I'm like watching that. And then I remember, watching this guy that was, Muslim, from over there, and he was gay, and he like committed, unalived, I don't know words you could say here, but on TikTok, we had to say unalived. And so he unalived himself because he couldn't be who he wanted to be. And his family didn't even do right by his body or anything, because they said he was ashamed. He brought shame to the family. And I'm like, so that's one, they don't like deviate. So when I seen that, I was like, what is that? I was like so shocked. I was like, why? I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It was like 30 seconds. I couldn't even watch it. I was like, I would never think I would see Muslim men with the head scarves, the things wrapped on when they go out and out in
Birkin.
Yeah, yes, they had those on. Oh, they call the burqas for the men too. When the men put the the scarves on or whatever. Yeah. I would never think I would see those men twerking. I was like, they were like bent over twerking. I was like, okay, this is going too far. So so a Muslim commented and was like, these are the last and evil days. That's how you know. Like, this is very unacceptable or whatever. And I'm like, it's sad to say, but it's kind of good to see, because they only think that like church people or, we're the only ones, please.
And we ain't, everybody doing it. People are tired of these rigid rules, right? And they're tired of the social constraints of the rules, right? That's a social constraint. And it's also a cultural constraint. And a lot of these things that are cultural and social constraints, we've made into faith-based constraints that literally just keep people all types of confused and bottled up. And next thing you know, this is why you got people twerking now. And that's why you got all the church people mad at Beyonce's song, Church Girls.
I ain't even gonna lie. I haven't heard this song yet. I know, and like it's not like I don't do a ride out every morning. I gotta listen to, I go to work so early in the morning. I have to listen to like King Von and them to get me to like I gotta get like that in the morning. But I
I
still
know
have to,
that's right.
I heard somebody saying like she's a demon. What is this? What is she? I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it right now. We hang up. I want to hear what is she saying that's so bad.
Twerk it. Shut it for your time. I don't know what the hell she's saying. I don't even care.
Something about a church girl twerking. They do.
Yeah, and they do. But what, we will sidebar forever and a day. But that all ties into this culture of hypersensitivity.
It's
Everything
actually
is
trying to get on my
sensitive.
nerves too. That's why I'm like, I hate it here. Like I really do. I like when people could say what they wanted to say and kind of like just
And
be
nobody got
whatever.
offended.
Yeah. And like what it is? It's that everybody is allowed to have an opinion, right? Like my number one thing is I no longer will ever support always products because they removed the Venus symbol because a trans woman
Yes.
said she didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, trans women, do they use tampon? Do they use pads?
No, because you don't get a period.
Yeah, so why
do you even care?
The Venus symbol was a part of me becoming a woman when I was 12 years old, and we were learning about our bodies, and the boys went one class and the girls went another class, and we were like, you're gonna have this great experience, like you're gonna have you shedding for like what? Like I never forget, like
it wasn't that great,
like learning that in school. Yeah, and the boys went one class, learned about their testicles dropping, their voices changing, and we went in another room and we learned about our periods, and the Venus symbol was like the main thing. And so for them to remove that, it's like they're removing a part of our womanhood. And I don't have a problem with trans women. I know, and I have a lot of trans women friends, and I respect them. And it's like I talk to my gay friends about it, and they were like, we can't even sometimes get down with their movements because it doesn't make sense to them. So it's like that's a whole other topic for another day. But it's just like in general, like I would never. Well, I hope they're not one of your sponsors. And if they are, you're sponsoring her, you wouldn't be sponsoring K Brown because I would never. I use Real. Shout out to Real.
You use Real?
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Real with the super pads is the ones that super soaker pads. Sorry, y'all. Listen. Life be life and it like
that's okay. I might have to switch over because life be lifing.
Listen, Real super, and then they have Ultra Girl, and you can't find Ultra tampons nowhere. I went to 4 stores and had to end up ordering them online. In a box of like it was like $80 for like the big box of them. And I was like, because they have these new everybody is eating this food that has all these steroids in it that's causing us to bleed heavier. So everybody needs Ultra tampons because the super is not enough. Super plus is not enough. And you need Ultra. And back to the topic because I will go all the way, maybe like you said, we will sidebar all night or whatever.
And that's okay. But it's real. And like we said, all of this ties into hypersensitivity.
It does, and I can't wait
never change.
We gotta go.
Culture. Mm-hmm.
We gotta talk about. We both gotta go watch what Ari Spears said, and then just make a follow-up post to what he's talking about because I guess he said he's talking out about it. I just seen like when I looked it up, it was like Ari Spears spoke out an hour ago. I'm like, oh my goodness, but we were getting on, so we gotta see what he was talking about because I'm like, I'm not a fan of his. Anyway, I don't think he's funny. But I don't hate him. Like, do your thing. You know what I mean? But
I mean, if I'm honest, I don't feel Tiffany Haddish is that damn funny, right?
No,
but that also,
I think she was funny in Girl Trip. I think she was funny.
Yeah, that's my movie. But other than that, I'm like, but I'm not gonna hate a person, and I'm also not going to jump on a bandwagon against the person when I watched everything and I say to myself, I've watched much harder things on TV.
There is something I'm gonna send it to you, and then you can post about it. I can't think of the clip, or even what the name of them was. Something on Netflix, and they were like, I don't know what I just watched, but if you go to Netflix, it's some show, and they're like, go to episode 3, the 35-minute mark, and they were like, tell me what you just watched. It's something that's so out of the loop. So one of my girlfriends, they want you to blind react to it. So I didn't do the blind reaction, but I saw her face and I was like, I don't even want to know what it is, but I'm gonna do it and then I'm gonna let y'all know what it is. And then because it has to be something that's like they want you to blind react to it because they were like, what is the world coming to? Like, get me off this place. So I don't know what these people are doing in this movie, but it's like if you're not being if you notice, even if you look at like commercial and you say hypersensitive, like you know, I see why sometimes white supremacists get so mad. Every commercial now, if you really peep it, it's always an interracial couple.
Yeah.
The guy was making dinner for his black girlfriend and he made spaghetti, and then it's always interracial couples. I'm like, if you show a black woman and a black man, it's not okay. If you show a white woman and a white man, it's not okay. It's got to either be interracial couples, gay couples, whatever. And I don't have nothing against gay people, interracial couples, or anything, but is there anything wrong with just showing a black couple, like black love anymore? Like, it's always has to be something like added in to everybody's not going to fit in every narrative, like, right? Like, you know, we don't have children, you know, may my daughter may rest in peace or whatever, but as of right now I have children. So we, you know, people can say happy Mother's, well, people always say happy Mother's Day to me because on paper I was a mom, right? My daughter has a birth certificate, but like, meaning, like, you know, like to go out and celebrate Mother's Day. No, it's nothing for me to celebrate. My daughter's not here. So, but are we going to like boycott it because no. Are we going to boycott Father's Day because we're not fathers? No. Are we going to boycott Children's Day? Remember Children's Day because we're not children anymore? No. Like, no. Are we going to boycott Valentine's Day because if you're not in love? No. Like, so it's like
sure not.
These things that people want to boycott, or, you know, one person will say it and it's like the world is scared. That's why I like, you know, I don't respect what Chick-fil-A stands for. When they talk about, you know, how they don't agree with homosexuality. Of course, I'm 1,000% against that. But I respect how they stand for what they stand for, and they not bending. You know what I mean? Like, nah. And then when I see that gay people work there, when I go there, I see Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, you know what they stand for. Like, they be like, they ain't not beat. Like, and they not opening on Sundays. I respect that. Like, they old school. I respect that. I respect any business that doesn't open on Thanksgiving Day, right? Because those days used to be sacred. You couldn't find no store open on Thanksgiving when we was little. No store open on Christmas Day.
Nope.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving every year you could sometimes because people run out of milk, like whatever. But for the like Christmas, that was like a sacred day. And I don't even, you know, I don't even have family. I live by myself. That's it. I don't even celebrate Christmas. But I still think it's a sacred day, even that's a day that I just rest, a day of rest or whatever, not a day to be out. And then I'm always feeling sorry for the people in the stores. And then people are always like, what about the people that want to go to work because they want to make that double time? And I'm like, I get it. We all need money, but we always need a day of rest. And then when you look back over your life, will you say, I wish I took that day off, or I wish I spent that day with my family? You know what I mean? When I'm dealing with, you know, when, you know, my best friend just dying or whatever, like, if I look back and was like, oh, I could have spent time with him, which I always did, I would have felt guilty if he invited me to something. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go get this double time. You know, sometimes you're gonna get it, but I'm not gonna get it every time. I'm gonna, you know, sometimes I'm gonna make a sacrifice to spend time with my friends and my family. So, you know,
listen, I am notorious for that. If I need a day off because someone,
yeah, you know it. And but you know, I just, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like you just said, Tiffany, I never really thought she was funny, but I didn't really want to verbalize it because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to cheer another black woman on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like. Go ahead, y'all listening. Go ahead and give me that. I'm not a fan of the Shy. I do not like the Shy. I think it's corny. I think it gives me soul food vibes. I'm like, it's just, I have no connection to anybody on the Shy. I don't care if they I don't care anything about them. I feel like they try to make the kids way too grown with these. There's 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. They have these grown people issues, you know what I mean? Losing kids and, you know, want to be emancipated and all of this and that. Like, you know, they just have too many grown people issues. And I know it's a lot of kids out here that do, but I just don't, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't like the writing. I don't particularly like Lena. Wait, and I'm not hating on her. I'm a black writer. She's a black writer. So I don't speak ill of her or whatever. I wish her all the best. But, you know, everybody loves Issa Rae. I like Issa Rae's writing better. Like, I like Issa Rae's stuff better. It's just what it is, you know? And they both have, you know, their own styles, but we just like who we like. You know what I mean? And we're going to like what shows we like.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I just feel like when we jump on a bandwagon of this level of cancellation, and especially when something is a little off, we should be able to tell when something is just off.
But are they just canceling Tiffany or both of them?
Well, it seems to me, I don't know what you've seen, but it seems to me like people are more angry with Tiffany than they are with Aries. right? Because all the commentary that I'm seeing is geared towards her. It's not geared towards him. But
and is it because he's always been very
controversial,
rough around the edges and
right?
say whatever he wants to say?
And
You know what I mean?
and is it because she's more mainstream now and she's more widely accepted? How many times was she on Ellen? How many times was he on Ellen? Not one. Right. So when you think about it, it's like, okay, am I against the mainstream person because she's more mainstream? She's more of the person that we have been accustomed to than him. That's what it seems like. So it's like, okay, yeah, he spoke out, but we're running with Tiffany's statement. She said it was supposed to be comedic, so therefore it's comedic, and I don't feel like there's anything funny about that.
I mean, did she write it? Like, you know what I mean? I can't even really like figure out who wrote the skit, who filmed the skit. It's so much that goes into filmmaking. I don't care even when it's these little skits in people's houses, right? It's so much that goes into it. You have a DP, somebody that's filming it, right? They're making sure that everything is matching up. Sometimes you have a sound guy, right? A person that's doing the sound. You have this, you have that, all these people, and then you have your shoot time. So her shoot time, they could have shot all 3 of her scenes. Her holding a little boy, her with the tub, a little boy, and her like leaving out. 3 scenes, she could have been done for the day, right? That could have been it.
And she could have left.
That's the magic of editing.
Yep.
And then they're filming a little boy. It could have been nobody in the room, but the little boy.
They could have said just play around with the train.
Yeah,
go around in a circle.
Yeah. No butt cheeks out, nothing showing, like
nothing.
Like a little pair of swim shorts. I mean, we know it was underwear, but swim shorts or whatever. Kids do commercials and tighty whities all the time, whatever. So it's kind of like those are all the questions that have to be answered. But I guess being that Tiffany opened her mouth, so let me ask you this in closing. Would you prefer to be mainstream and have to apologize all the time? Would you prefer to be like Aries and just do what you do and be who you want to be?
Aries. My preference would be to be Aries. Let me do what I do. Let me do it unapologetically. Let me do it authentically. And let me deal with whatever I need to deal with. But let me be me. You know what I'm saying? Because
if I offend someone, I'm not above apologizing.
Not above
at this age that we're at now, the things that we do, we mean them. You know what I mean? I don't know how Tiffany had it. I think, what is it? She 40? Like, she's not a kid. So, like, she didn't do that in her 20s. And that's what I'm always scared of. And I'm just, in closing, like, I'm always scared. I don't know what I used to write on Twitter, right? And these people know how to. These
might come back. Right.
Go back. I'm telling you, when I make it, because it's coming, right? They're going to be pulling up my old Twitters. I'm like, I said it, and I was 21. Like, what, and? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie and say I haven't been on the bandwagons like the young man that was killed by his white girlfriend that was talking bad about black women, saying he wanted a white girl, peace and all that.
Hey, Donnie. Donnie, say good evening, everybody.
Hey, everybody. But, well, Donnie, you late because we leaving. Because, you know, your sister was bed at 7, but I stayed up just to talk to you.
He said he put in parentheses, yelling, sis. He yelling.
He should have been on. I mean, it would have been really good to hear. I heard you talking to the one young lady that seems to have a different viewpoint, but it seems like she didn't see it. So it really would have been good to have somebody on that was totally against our viewpoint. But I think because I had people on my page, I was like, I can't even watch the whole thing. I'm like, did you? It was that, like, it was that daunting. I mean, I think people that it was so daunting to where they couldn't really watch the whole thing, it might have happened to them. It might be too reminiscent for you, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to watch it either. You know, my uncle.
I watched it, my face, I was like, oh.
Yeah, but I was like, I just gotta watch the whole thing because I'm doing the show and I gotta watch it. I was like, and the R. Kelly and the Todd playing,
right? I was like,
and then I'm seeing the mother, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for this part, right? I'm waiting for what the world is upset about. I'm like,
I mean, I was waiting for that too because I kept watching. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all.
Maybe I turned my head for 2 seconds at him rubbing the baby on his shoulder.
Right. I couldn't watch that part because I was like, what the? Because then it was like, let me not reenact this shit. Never mind. I'm not reenacting it. But
I mean, that was the only part I seen him hold his foot up and put some water on his foot, like squirt a little. But I was like, The little boy I couldn't see if he was naked in the tub. All I saw was his foot. Again, that's all a part of, that's all a part of filmmaking. When people are having sex on film, they're not having sex. They're simulating sex. We can make it look very real, though. We can make it look very real. Okay? That's all I can tell you. We can make it look very real. Okay?
I mean, that's a good editor.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not a good editor,
they met it. I want to know. I guess Ari Spears wrote. In my opinion, I think Ari Spears wrote it. He said, "Tiffany Ash, come on, you would be a great mother because you know."
And Tiffany was like, "Oh, I got a friend, and she got these 2 kids."
Yeah, and I just met her, and she went through a messy divorce, and they need to eat, and now the mother was messy anyway because she's trying to take everybody to court. You so busy suing everybody, and now you done lost custody of your child. We need to talk about that. We need to find out why you lost custody of your child.
Because why the sister got custody of her son now?
Why you 22 with a 14-year-old? Like that the math ain't math, and then the mother's still alive. With that, y'all, I have to bid y'all farewell.
We all gotta go. Listen, y'all. Me and Kay, we just gave our own independent commentary on what we saw and our reaction to what we saw. Okay, we are not legal experts. A little bit. Kay is a filmmaker, so therefore she can definitely
speak. My degree is in law, but okay.
And I know, right? That's why I said we are not, and then I made the face like I am not. Kay
I think it's about money. You just gotta understand. You gotta understand all. I mean, the legal jargon of it. Like we don't have time to go over that. But if you read, if you look up the 3 lawsuits, if you look up what punitive is, they were suing for 3. You sue for 3 different damages, right? So you sue for one that just like it's a punishable damage, right? We want them punished, but I want money for them being punished, right? So I want $100,000 for that, then I want $1 million exemplary because you want to make an example out of them, right? For everybody.
And then punitive because of how it affected me for the rest of my life.
That's
so
punitive.
Now I want you to pay.
Compensatory. There's some compensatory, like they want to be compensated. So listen, it's like. Let me tell you something. It's all about deep pockets. They doing all that suing, all them different lawsuits, and it's not a dollar amount. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. And my pastor said this. He said it was a guest preacher came to a church, and he saw a young lady with a tight skirt on or something like that, and he said to her, "For $100, would you sleep with me?" And she was like, "No." He was like, "How about for $100,000?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, how about 10?" And she was like, "What you think I am?" He was like, "We've already established what you are. Just how much does it cost?" Okay. So we already know that y'all are in this for the money. So your humanity and everything that you have done has a dollar amount on it, because if it didn't, it would not be a lawsuit out here. Okay. It would just be raising awareness, not suing.
And with that, good night, y'all.
Good night. I'll call you tomorrow, sis.
All right, girl.
Love you. Bye.